I'm Chris Hardenberg. This is Joe Pasalacqua. Welcome to the Movement Mindset, powered by Station Athletics, episode 1.
First time, huh?
We made it.
Chris. Just so everyone knows, this was a. When did we start thinking about this?
I mean, we started talking about this probably last year at some point.
Yeah, about a year ago.
Yeah,
I mean, just
2023.
the flow of everything, but yeah, we've been talking about this for a long time, and it's something that we kind of wanted to bring to the table. In essence, we want to talk about how the gym business kind of developed, right?
Yeah.
How our accountability and the growth of the gyms themselves, but to enhance the members to understand why we do the things we do.
Right.
Okay. I mean, I know this, and you're in complete agreement. We are not selling anything, not a single thing. The purpose of this is to not have you sign up for a class. This is not a purpose for you to subscribe. I'm not selling you a funnel of anything. This is to explain the origin of what we do, why we do it, and why we benefit from it. And now we're going on 6 locations because of this.
For sure. So, I mean, just to give you guys an idea, for those of you that don't know us, my name's Chris. This is Joe. Brandon's behind the camera, so he's helping us out. And then I need to give a shout out to Byron because he was kind of the one to push us to get started.
My man.
You know, we're in one of our locations right now, but I did want to say eventually we're going to be in like a fancy studio. But I mean, the biggest thing we want to get out of this, right? Like Joe said, is kind of, you know, what we've learned. We're trying to put out as much information as possible. So if you're someone looking for a gym, you know, obviously we want you to sign up with us, but we want you to be informed on, hey, these are the things we do. So if you're looking for a gym, your gym should be doing the same thing. And then if you're a gym owner, maybe something you can learn. And so we're kind of speaking to, you know, gym owners, gym goers. And so, you know, from the fitness side of things, our main, you know, I think it'd be super important. And Joe, you could talk on this for a little bit, is like we see it everywhere, our 3 components of success, right? Fitness, nutrition, and accountability. So what does that mean to our gyms? What does that mean to you and kind of our brand as a whole?
Yeah, I mean, so what we've developed over the last 10 years, just so everyone knows, we just celebrated this past weekend.
Yeah.
10 years of the Station Athletics brand as it developed through everything, the ups and downs. But, you know, starting from the beginning, it was always trying to deliver the highest quality client experience.
Yeah.
Right. And then that changed over time. Right. So Chris talked about it. You know, when we talk about our 3 components of success, it's not just the fitness, right? The nutrition has a tremendous piece of this as well. Right. So as we kind of developed it and as we kind of moved forward and there was trial and error, you know, it became the only thing that became important was that people could continue to develop at whatever skill level that they were at. Right. And a lot of times in the CrossFit space or the micro gym space, you see it all the time where people just get tired and they go to the next trendy bullshit thing.
Yeah.
Right. And you see all these other things pop up. You see the Orange Theories, you see the F45s and gyms that are like that. Right. And then you see people get burnt out of CrossFit gyms.
Right.
Right. Because the development stops.
Yeah.
Right. If I'm pitching someone to come in and they're going to have the best hour of their life, it's the best hour of their day, right?
Yeah.
The best hour of their day doesn't consist of like, okay, they had a great experience in the gym and they feel great, they sweat, you know, they felt like they got stronger. But what does that do for you outside of the gym?
Yeah.
Right? So our mindset over the last decade has changed from, okay, great, we run fantastic strength program. We run a really well-rounded class, right?
Yeah.
Okay, great. We also run a phenomenal nutrition program.
Sure.
Right? So then when you take it one step further, it's the accountability.
Yeah.
Right? And our accountability is huge. And we'll get into this kind of as it goes. But when you compile those 3 things together, all you're doing is making a tremendous client experience for that hour. But what else does it roll over to?
For sure. And that's like, you know, you kind of hit on it. We're going to get into this stuff in more detail as we get into subsequent episodes. The main purpose of this episode, guys, is to give you a framework of like what you're even going to be hearing about as we go through this podcast, because we have, you know, basically 10 years of experience to share with you guys. But from a client perspective, exactly what you talked about, right? Like how many gyms emphasize, you know, what goes on in between the 4 walls of the gym, what you're doing in the class, right? And yeah, you know, we maintain a really high standard when it comes to that. But that's why everyone who comes into our building gets nutrition guidance with their membership. That's why everyone who comes into the building gets accountability with a coach and actual results tracking outside of just stepping on your scale at home. And so it's really important to us that we maintain those three components of success: fitness, nutrition, and accountability throughout everything that we do. Like every thread of what we do has that in it. Yeah. And then from a business standpoint, right? Because we talked about at the beginning, who this podcast is for, and it's for people who are looking, who are gym goers at micro gyms, who are looking to make sure the experience that they're getting hits those pillars, right? But from a gym owner perspective, I thought it was important to touch on that a little bit as well. Again, we're not, like Joe said, we're not looking to sell anything. We're not looking to sell some sort of coaching program, but
we don't want to.
No,
we've given the framework away before, and it
falls flat.
It's literally irrelevant.
Yeah.
Because of the way that the implementation needs to happen. And we're not trying to do any of that. We've tried franchises. We don't want to do it.
No.
We're not trying to do a license. I'm not trying to do any of those things. So if someone emails me or texts me about it, I literally, someone who we know from your old gym just sent me a message about this, about someone wanting to do a license or a franchise in Morristown. And I said, sorry, I don't work well with
No way. I didn't even know that.
I didn't even tell you yet. But that's kind of my point, is like the perspective. And again, what Chris said is, if you're a gym owner and you take bits and pieces of anything that we're explaining to you, your gym will benefit from this.
100%.
Right? It's designed to allow someone in the gym business to actually make money in the gym business.
Well, yeah,
but then also have a phenomenal results-driven program where you have clients that are very happy.
It's a win-win, right? Like that's why we want to grow so fast and we want to grow so big, and we don't want to franchise because we want to maintain that high level of client experience. But that was something like Joe and I went to the CrossFit Games, and I said it to him when we were coming home. I was like, dude, it was like kind of depressing because the number of people we spoke to at the games that were like, oh, you guys are successful with the gyms. Like I only know people who struggle for years and then go do something else. Was like what? It's a win-win.
It's baffling.
It's crazy. So in terms of what we're going to be talking about from a gym owner perspective, we break it down into three components of success. Again, so it's sales, marketing, and delivery, client experience, right? And so, you need to have an awesome lead nurture process, awesome sales process. You need to have really strong marketing. Like we're going to talk in an episode on what we call our marketing spokes, which I stole from someone in terms of the terminology, but it's like the fact that we have, maybe 15 different marketing avenues, and then client experience and the delivery is really sales, marketing, and delivery is the three components from a gym owner perspective as well.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. So again, when me and Chris started talking about this about a year ago, this was the whole point. The whole point was to give content to people from our perspective of the success over the last decade now, of not just, how we operate the business, right? But for the members to understand of why we have our different levels of nutrition, why we have different levels of scalability up and down, why we've kept barbell strength training in the program.
Right.
Right. Even though the programming has changed and altered, but it always goes back to that.
Yep.
Is keeping the program so people understand why they're doing what they're doing.
Yeah.
This isn't a free for all. It's like, oh, I'm just going to do this, but why?
Yeah.
Right? You don't go somewhere and just pay for something and not understand. There has to be an end result.
Right.
So it should be no different in understanding. Okay, I'm doing this. Why am I doing it?
Right. And that's why we've been so in contradictory to a lot of like the fad fitness programs that have been out there, because I guarantee you, if you were like, well, why are we doing this and why aren't we doing this? Like they would have a real struggle answering that question.
To prove it against these 100%. Places, right? We'll get into it in different episodes, but the numbers don't lie.
Yeah.
Of attrition rates.
Sure.
Right. How many people are staying? Total client timeline of how long they're the client lifetime expectancy, right? There's all these things, and the industry as a whole it's actually really sad.
Yeah, oh yeah.
On where micro gyms kind of fall in that category, So that again, this is what we're here to talk about. Just the insight, and for people to understand is we're no dopes in this business. Some people may think that, but we have great example is, Chris, how many times you hire somebody or they start interviewing for a position and you show them everything that we do and they get anxiety.
Oh, yeah.
They're like, wait, this isn't, There's more to this than coaching a class.
For sure. Yeah. Happens all the time. So yeah, I mean, what I would say is, guys, like, we have a lot of information coming. Again, if you're someone who is a gym goer or a gym owner, right? Someone who falls in either of those buckets, this podcast is for you. So stay tuned for all we have going on, and, excited to kind of get this launched.
Boom. First one in the books.